KBLA Talk 1580. Welcome forward. Good morning. Oh man, it's the 7 o'clock hour, and I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for the Queen Dominique DePrima right here on First Things First, and we've been doing election coverage, bringing candidates to you all week. June election is coming up, June 2nd, as a matter of fact, and the delegation is going to have to make a decision on, who they're selecting and electing in these respective offices. But right now I am joined by she's a professor and former chair of Pan-African Studies at California State University of Los Angeles. She is holds a PhD from the University of Southern California. She is one of the lead founders and organizers of Black Lives Matter, and is the executive director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, as well as Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. Some would refer to her as the biggest Prince fan in the world, but I think she has certainly set a standard on what fandom looks like with the great Prince Rogers Nelson. Dr. Melina Abdullah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Actually, Dominique upgraded me. Apparently, I'm the president of the Intergalactic Prince fan club. So I'm upgraded. You intergalactic. Every universe. In every universe. In no universe will you find a bigger Prince fan than me.
So the biggest in the world, that isn't enough?
No. I like to upgrade.
You like you like
I like to upgrade.
well, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do you one more though, right? Because that was a good one. You've certainly become stratospheric, right, with your fandom of Prince. But to me, you are a once in a generation fan of Prince. You're one of one. There's none other like you.
I'll take that. Actually, my last column is on Prince. It's called Prince and the Revolution. Prince ... and the Revolution. So he didn't name his band The Revolution for nothing.
Yeah, right? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You've said that the revolution started in Minneapolis.
Yes, the revolution did start in Minneapolis, and the revolution is still going down in Minneapolis. In fact, there's another reason for uprising. The murderer of Renee Good was just put back on duty. The ICE agent who murdered Renee Good was just released back into the wild, and people should be aware, should be on alert, and should hold people accountable.
Placed back on duty. I mean, that seems like, so you kill someone, it's recorded. Is the investigation concluded?
I don't know. Okay. I don't know, and I'm in an airport, so apologies for the background announcements.
No,
yeah.
we know you're busy. And of course, Dr. Abdullah is talking about the January murder of Renee Good, who was a bystander and an ICE agent. He executed her, and right for all of us to see. Doc, I want to play something for you. Before earlier in the show, I talked about what happened in New York yesterday. 2 New York detectives grabbed the wrong brother in a convenience store, savagely beat him for 8 minutes. And then there's this clip of a Houston police officer, right, going on this racial rant. And it wasn't one that I heard. Well, I don't want to editorialize it. I'll let you hear. But what I see as a through line between the New York officers, the Houston officer, and our men and women of LAPD is that they are all represented by unions who all have something strong to say. But Miles, let's play that first clip of this Houston officer going on this racial rant. Miles is getting that together for us real quick.
I heard her.
You heard
I
it.
heard her.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I heard what
I
she
don't,
said.
I don't know that the
you can play
audience
the
has
clip.
heard it. Yeah, let's play that clip, Miles,
Yeah.
and then I'll get your reaction on the other side.
The amount of times that I will always and forever say that I fucking hate niggers. Oh my god, I fucking hate niggers. Like, I hate y'all. Like, you, like, I don't oh, we were slaves this entire, I don't give a but like, for a reason you guys were slaves. You guys don't know anything better than to steal. Like, oh my god. Like, I was literally eating food with my friend. He had his, oh my god, like, I don't know, por Dios, por gracias de Dios, I had my wallet next to me. Like,
Miles, that's enough. It continues on. Doc, your reaction.
This is not surprising. This is how they talk about us. This is how we're treated. It's very clear that, you know, police descends from slave catching. Mm-hmm. Policing descends from slave catching. So the idea that police are racist is no revelation. We should also know that she is not isolated. Just, you know, when we think about LAPD, you know, people might go, oh, well, that's Houston. No, let's think about LAPD. And I sent you a clip of what their so-called union, and I won't give them I won't allow them to pretend to be unions. Real unions represent working class people. Real unions are unions like mine, the California Faculty Association. The LA Police Protective League is organized crime. The Association of Los Angeles Deputy Sheriff is organized crime. They cover for police violence, police abuse, police racism. And so it's very important that we distinguish them from real unions. And there's an effort, Black Lives Matter has been engaged in an effort to end police associations for years now because they bully and bribe elected officials. They pilfer the public purse. I think even your last guest was talking about how, you know, LAPD, because of those lawsuits, they're sending our city into bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. And then they cape for even the most violent police. So she will absolutely be protected by her police association, as was Kim Potter, who was the president of her police association when she murdered Dante Wright. But also as LAPPL continues to protect and shield killer cops, even killer cops that are not theirs, from accountability. And so I shared with you what LAPPL just did when we say organized crime, where they put a target on my back.
We'll talk about that when we come forward, Doc, because, I mean, there's certainly some through lines here. I immediately, in hearing this racist rant from this Houston officer, it just harkened and reminded me of the Torrance Police Department and many other police departments who have gotten caught in text messages, right, of how they speak of community members and how they feel. So to hear this, it was extremely disturbing. I want to talk with you when we come forward, Doc, about your work and BLM Grassroots work around the people's budget and how that has kind of landed you in disfavor with the labor organization known as the not Pasadena, that's a whole nother police department, Los Angeles Protective Police League. Stay with us. More with Dr. Abdullah. James Farr in for Dominique DePrima, only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pacoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493, 800-515-4493.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Whatever, right? But no or nothing. Y'all don't know how good it felt to say like out loud. Like goddamn, like oh my god, I felt like I was back in the Marine Corps. Like I kid you not. I don't know what the fuck came over me. I grabbed that by the neck and I was like, "Come here, you fucking." And oh my god, like I felt like the world just stopped. Like it was just peace. Like I don't know. And then he was just like,
she felt like
in my head, I was like, damn,
KBLA Talk 1580. First things first, James Farr. I'm sitting in for Dominic DePrima. I am joined by Dr. Melina Abdullah, who is the executive director of Black Lives Matter Grassroots. And as I was listening, Doc, to this rant again, I got lost in the thought of what I was hearing as she was relishing in her words, almost as if, you know, she was flowing and poetically releasing her disdain and hate for black folks, law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we want to pretend like police is just a job, but we have to always remember the origins of these institutions, and the origins of policing is slave catching. Even people who are pro-police cannot deny the history of policing. There's a reason why if you put a patty roller badge, you know, slave catcher badge next to a sheriff's badge, you can't tell them apart because that's where they hail from. That's what they are. So the idea that she would be on a racist rant is, I would say it's the norm for police. It's not an exception, although we don't always hear it. You know, we don't always hear what they're saying, but that's I mean, as you pointed out, that was the gist of the text of the Torrance Police Department, which included, I believe it was almost half of the police department that was engaged in the racist text messaging scandals.
Wow.
And so that's the norm. That's the norm.
She has to be a special kind of stupid racist to, remove all doubt, as opposed to just remaining silent and us thinking that that's what police think. We see this play out. The work that you and Dr. David Turner and Dr. Tabitha Jolivet and the entire team at Black Lives Matter Grassroots. I had a chance to attend a couple of weeks ago your presentation of the people's budget. And first of all, let me just say my first reflection was it was an experience. It was a community, and it fed community information. I was shocked to learn that the percentage of the budget our city of Los Angeles allocates to policing is, I believe the report said 47%. Is that, do I have that right?
Yeah, almost half, and that's the direct
Wow.
general fund allocation. But remember, there's also additional costs. So, for instance, $270 million, the vast majority of that, those lawsuit payouts are because of police violence. We have to remember that Park and Recs contracts with police. Most city departments contract with police. So the direct amount that goes to LAPD out of the general fund is almost half. But then there's also additional funds that they receive from the other departments.
So what you're pointing, what you got, what the work and the research, which was based on a survey that you were talking with residents, community stakeholders in Los Angeles, helping them understand the budget and what they see as their priorities, right? What were some of the things that came out of that? And then I want to talk about your presentation it was the finance committee, to the city council, and what kind of we're walking through some steps. I'm going to land in a minute.
Sure. So the people's budget is something that we initiated in 2020. And where it actually came from is during the COVID-19 pandemic, the worst public health pandemic in our lifetime, and really any lifetime. We were reeling, and you're a parent like I'm a parent. Our kids were scared. Everybody had to figure out what to do. And we looked around, and there was all this money that was going to police and police overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we spending money on police when nobody's even outside? Nobody's even outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what we were very clear about needing, is we needed money for housing. How are you going to have people living in tents during the midst of a public health pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
We needed money for after-school programs and really youth support programs, right? Because our kids were scared. We were scared, right? And so we initiated the people's budget to ask Angelenos, where do you want your dollars to go? And so we put that out in 2020 and have done it every year since. More than 60,000 people have been engaged, and more than 30,000 people have completed the People's Budget Survey. And consistently for the last 6 years, they've said they want to defund 3 areas. I call them the 3 Ps, which is police, prosecutions, and parking enforcement, right? And they want to invest. Their biggest area of investment is housing, followed by mental health resources in the built environment, things like libraries and parks. They want the street lights fixed. They want roads fixed. Yeah. And people do not want to spend more money on police. Unfortunately, the mayor's budget proposal every year ignores the will of the people, and this year also ignores the will of the people, and her top spending area continues to be LAPD.
So you had the opportunity to present your findings, right? What your survey, what you presented to the community. I mean, it had to be 300 people in the event that you hosted. You went to council. What happened there?
So we're really appreciative of Budget and Finance Chair Katie Yaroslavsky for scheduling that presentation. We appreciate Ionesis Hernandez, and we got to be clear that the People's Budget is a survey. There's a presentation. We called it a People's Budget Assembly. But it's also a process.
Mm-hmm.
So we engage people over time, really from January through June. And I want to lift up Ionesis Hernandez, who's very strong on participatory budgeting. We've engaged with her constituency and her district over time. So they brought us in to deliver our People's Budget presentation to the Budget and Finance Committee. Dr. David Turner, got to shout out Dr. David Turner and Dr. Tabitha Jones-Jolivet, who are quantitative methodologists who know how to do more than use their calculator.
I had my fingers out.
Qualitative, right. And so we gave that presentation. Dr. Turner and I gave that presentation to Budget and Finance last Friday. City council chambers were packed, and there were hundreds of people outside who couldn't even make it into chambers.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the budget is an important issue for Angelenos. They don't think it's boring. They want to know where their money is going, and they want to advocate for their money to go to their priority areas. So the budget process in most cities, but in Los Angeles, is that the mayor proposes her budget, which she submitted that proposal on April 20th. Budget and Finance then considers it and makes edits or suggested edits. They can support or reject it, and then it goes to full city council for that vote and additional amendments to that. And so the people, we still have plenty of time to engage around the People's Budget. And I think the fear of LAPPL, just kind of tying it all back up,
Mm-hmm.
is that because the people don't want to fund police to the tune of, almost $4 billion a year, that if the people continue to organize and continue to mobilize, it can affect their bottom line, and it can also affect the way in which Los Angeles exists as a city. We could have a city where everybody is housed, everybody is fed. We could have a city where there's strong after-school programs.
Mm-hmm. We
could have a city that loves Angelenos, not just the police.
So what I'm confused about, Doc, is I saw something on social media. It was unsettling, to say the least, right? But let me get back to this. So first, you outline the budget. The budget is what pays police officers' salaries, right? I know I'm being real simplistic, but I'm feeling really simple this morning, right? But budget funds salaries, right? Salaries from law enforcement officers is what they use to pay their dues to their union, right? What business?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said the salaries of the officers are what they use to pay their dues to be a member of the Los Angeles Police Protective League. Right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So stay with me. We're with the people's budget and the people's money, right? What business does the Police Association, Los Angeles Protection League, right, have in trolling on social media? I'm trying to find the right words, and I don't want to give more attention to the how they framed up what's circulating on social media. But where does the Police Association get off in trolling community members because they advocate for cuts in the budget?
They should not be.
Mm-hmm.
My belief is that they're engaging in hate crime style activity by trolling, by I don't work for the city, right? I'm not an elected official. I have a whole nother job.
Mm-hmm.
It's me being at the airport right now. I'm a professor, right? I don't work for them. And for them to call a private resident out by name and send alerts to their cops is an act of violence, and they intend it to be that. There's a cop who is inside the LA Police Commission meetings that we go to that made a comment that said, what did she say? She said, reporter to her job, right? And then she said, ghetto, right? Her name is Giselle Espinosa, so I believe I can name names too. Giselle Espinosa made that comment. I believe she made it while she was on duty, right? Is this where you want your tax dollars to go? To police who are trolling private residents, who dare to challenge them and try to hold them accountable.
Well, I think what Doc is saying is folks who have allegedly sworn to the Constitution are aiming to suppress citizens' First Amendments, right? Doc, we got news and sports up next. Want to continue the conversation when we come forward. Today's the 29th. We're remembrance of the Rodney King verdict. Stay with us only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. State lawmakers are set to debate a new congressional map that could cut Democratic-leaning districts in half, giving Republicans as many as 24 House seats. Black State House Minority Leader Fentrice Driscoll calls it illegal gerrymandering.
It is virtually impossible to see this as anything except another thinly veiled attempt to subvert the will of the voters and rig the midterm elections.
The government says rapid population growth and looming federal court rulings justify the move. Nebraska has approved its first Black-founded all-girls middle school. Identity Preparatory Academy is set to open in North Omaha later this year, offering a culturally focused education designed to support academic success and representation for young girls. And President Trump has fired all 24 members of the National Science Board, which oversees federal science funding through the National Science Foundation. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Fiji Airways on sale. Turn your next trip into something unforgettable with Fiji Airways. Fly nonstop from LAX to Fiji starting from just $349 one way. Your island time is waiting. Book now at FijiAirways.com. That's FijiAirways.com. Conditions apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For the fourth time in this first round playoff series, the Lakers will not have to worry about a game plan for Kevin Durant. The Houston Rockets confirmed that Durant will not play tonight in Game 5 at Crypto.com. The 37-year-old Durant is still struggling with a sprained left ankle. Durant, number 5 on the NBA all-time scoring list, has played in only one of the 5 playoff games against the Lakers. The Lakers have a 3-win lead in the best of 7. They could eliminate Houston with a win. It's hard to tell if Durant's absence will be an advantage for the Lakers. The Rockets won Game 4 Sunday without Durant, but that was in Houston. The Lakers are 4.5-point favorites. The NCAA is giving serious consideration to expanding the men's and women's basketball tournaments to 76 teams. A formal announcement could come next week after a vote on the expansion proposal. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We don't do ordinary. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
You better work.
She's rooted in culture and rising in power. Los Angeles City Council member Karen D. Price Jr. invites you to the District 9 Women's Leadership Summit, a powerful gathering celebrating the women who shape our communities. Join us Sunday, May 3rd from 1 to 6 p.m. Registration is open now, but space is limited. District 9 residents receive special priority. This event is free. Call 323-846-2651 to reserve your spot. That's 323-846-2651. Be rooted, be powerful, be there.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Things are changing fast and no one knows what comes next. Times like these make you realize just how important it is to be prepared. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. They're America's #1 most trusted resource for survival food, solar power, water filtration systems, and more. Go to preparewithamerica.com to unlock a special offer that'll help you get ready for whatever comes our way. Go to preparewithamerica.com to see the special offer right now. That's preparewithamerica.com.
The joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Big Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. Foot stomping, heart stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right, James Farr. I'm sitting in for Dominique DePrima. First things first, all week election coverage. This hour we're taking I won't say a break from it, but talking and joined by Dr. Melina Abdullah, Executive Director of Black Lives Matter, Grassroots, Black Lives Matter, Los Angeles, as well as my colleague right here on KBLA Talk 1580, the host of This Is Not a Drill, which airs every Saturday from 8 a.m. Until 10 p.m. And Doc was bringing us up to speed on, the trolling by the Los Angeles police protectively. Doc, is there any hope? And I know Prince brings you that joy, but is there any hope that we'll see a change?
Absolutely. I mean, change is happening all the time.
Tell me about it.
But we got to remember that the people have power, right? That the people have power. And so, for instance, Karen Bass chose not to come to the People's Budget Assembly for the first time in her mayoralty. She normally comes to receive the data. She didn't even pretend to want to hear what Angelenos had to say.
What changed?
I think she's running for re-election. I think that she didn't like that there's some criticism, but love means being critical. And so, love means telling people when they're wrong, right? So the idea that she won her first election without the support of LAPPL, and now she's giving away raises to police at a time when, if we talk about our intervention workers make less than half of what police make. And they're responsible. It's the intervention workers who have been responsible for the driving down of crime to 60-year lows in the city of Los Angeles. Yet we pay them less than half of what police make. And she didn't want to hear that. And instead, because LAPPL is such a powerful lobby, again, they are not a real union. Unions are about protecting and advancing the interests of working class people. But they're a powerful lobby that has deep pockets. I think that she has chosen to kind of take for them. But here's the hope, that the assembly was packed out anyway. We had more than 300 people there anyway, that both of the Budget and Finance Committee hearings had people lined up around the corner. And I was there all day for both of those public comment periods. And not a single person said they wanted to spend more money on police. They wanted money for safe parking, which this mayor's budget threatens to eliminate, right? If we think about what safe parking is, that's for unhoused people who are living in their cars to be able to safely park their cars in public parking lots overnight so they can have some semblance of safety as they try to get it together in an economy that's absolutely devastating communities. And these are the things that people are advancing. So the hope is in the people.
Amen. So every Wednesday, Black Lives Matter, Los Angeles and Grassroots, you've taken action, right? And that's something that, is it still going strong for how many weeks now?
Every Wednesday, and we've been doing it for more than 8 years, really more than 9 years now. So we turned it into the End Police Association's protest after we successfully removed Jackie Lacey, got her voted out of office. But every Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 11 West Temple.
And what can people expect there if this is their first time, or they are what I call your activation date, right? Like today is your Popeye moment, and you want to find an organization or be a part of something that doesn't include parades and balloons and face paint and made up kings and kingdoms, right, to protest. Where does that happen, and what can they expect?
They can come out to End Police Association's rally today at 4 p.m. to 11 West Temple. And when you're there, you'll hear from people like Baba Akili, or hear from people like, leaders of our youth vanguard, including my own, Tandiwe, right, talking about why we should be investing in resources, not police. And then we also want to uplift that what's happening on the city level is also happening on the county level. So I want to shout out the work of Reimagine LA, and we want to encourage people to be involved in that. They're organizing on May 6th in the morning, so you can have a full day of demonstration and people power on next Wednesday, May 6th at 10 a.m. Reimagine LA is going to be in front of the Hall of Administration, the Hahn Hall of Administration at 500 West Temple. They'll be there from 10 to 3, and then folks can just walk on over to our rally at 4 o'clock at 211 West Temple. So again, we are rallying for a Care First budget in the county. That's what we're calling it. And we're also organizing and advocating for a people's budget in the city of Los Angeles. And people can tap into that at peoplesbudgetla.com.
Doc, today being the 29th of April, it was back in 1992, a jury in Simi Valley, California, acquitted 4 LAPD police officers in the brutal videotape beating of Rodney King, Altadena's own Rodney King, right? We all saw that video. But on this day they were acquitted, and right here where I'm sitting, where you sit every week, and community where you are every other day, right? There was an unrest, right? Those officers received their jobs back. I guess I'm going back into that hope space, and I keep, I've forgive me, delegation, I've relapsed. I'm back on the hope dope now, and so I'm trying to hold on to it and get as many bumps and hits of hope as I need. But have we learned anything since that day in 1992 when we saw the community erupt in an outcry of what we saw of a black man beaten savagely on video?
Absolutely. I think the people have power, and I'll take it a step further. It's beyond hope. It's faith, right? We know that when we fight, we win. We know that when the people organize, the people power is bigger than the money power. It's bigger than the power of police associations. It's bigger than the power of racist cops. When we think about 1992, think about all that came as a result of that uprising. If we think about organizations like Community Build, if we think about investments in things like the mayor's former organization, Community Coalition, right, that came because people chose to not simply allow our brother to be beaten and it go unanswered. And so we have to remember that this is another moment. This is another moment the world cracks open on occasion. And this is a moment with an absolute fascist in the White House, where he has declared war on all of us. We have a moment to rise up and harness the power of the people. So we ask people to plug in with organizations and with your neighbors to make sure that we harness the collective power of the people.
That's the voice of Dr. Melina Abdullah. Doc, I know you got a heart out. I mean, folks in the chat are sending you well wishes and on your travel and thanking you for showing up in community. How can people get in touch with you?
Sure. So I'm at Doc Melly Mel on all social media, and they can follow the work of BLM Grassroots on all social media. Locally, we're BLM Los Angeles on Instagram, and come out to the demonstration today, 4 o'clock, and every Wednesday, 4 o'clock, 211 West Temple. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too, Doc. I know you got to run. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, we're going to continue this conversation. I want to talk more about that day in 1992 when that verdict was read. Because this community reacted. Communities across the country reacted. I'll share a little bit of my perspective where I was on that day mentally, and just all of the above, and kind of how that shaped and informed me and how I show up. I'd never thought in a million years I'd be sitting at the corner of Crenshaw and Vernon on this here microphone. Doc, thanks so much again. I'm James Farr. I'm in for Dominique DePrima. We got a whole lot more to talk about.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Hi, I'm Fred Martin, founder of Compton Kids Club. I just want to talk about the authenticity and tell y'all about my homeboy, Tom Steyer. Tom is a rock star. When I met him, Tom gave a grant to schools in San Francisco. All the kids were on probation. We were flying instructors for 2 years to come and help those kids doing performing arts and turning their life around. Some of the kids that he supported, they've graduated from UCLA. Let's fast forward. Tom is in schools in Compton, hanging out with the kids in the piano classes. Brother Tom Steyer hangs out in the studio with us. These are the seeds that he's planted. This has nothing to do with elections. What's coming out of his mouth is not a campaign speech. It's authentic, and when he say he walks away from a business because he want to do his values, he ain't making that up because he's running for governor. This man is real.
Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
My name is Cynthia Mitchell. I've been an emergency room nurse in Los Angeles County for 25 years. I've been there through every fire season, every outbreak, every earthquake. Every time Los Angeles needed us, the doctors and nurses of Los Angeles County showed up. And right now, I'm seeing another disaster coming. Trump's cuts to Los Angeles County's healthcare system are a public health crisis in the making. Medi-Cal, public hospitals, disaster preparedness are all at risk, but we can stop it. Measure ER fights back against these cuts. For a half a penny, we keep emergency rooms open, care within reach for working families, and doctors and nurses serving the communities we love. When you vote yes on Measure ER, you're not just voting for health care, you're voting for LA. Vote yes on Measure ER by June 2nd.
Ad paid for by Yes on ER, Restore Healthcare for Angelinos, sponsored by St. John's Community Health and Health Justice Action Fund. Ad committee top funder, St. John's Community Health.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
That's right. You're definitely listening to KBLA Talk 1580. And, well, we are for everybody, but we certainly ain't for everybody. James Farr, man, for Dominique DePrima, first things first, all week long. Just got offline with Dr. Melina Abdullah. And, hey, now's a good time. We got some time, good time for you to call in, 800-920-1580. That's 1-800-920-1580. Today being the 29th of April, 1992, was the day that the verdict came out of the Rodney King beating the 4 LAPD officers. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But Fred, you on the line this morning. What you got for us? Good morning, Fred. Did we lose Fred? I think we lost Fred. Fred, if you out there, give us a call back. You can call us back also, or 800-920-1580. I definitely would like to hear from you. So I was saying, I wanted to talk about 1992, the Rodney King verdict, the LAPD officers that, as we all, when we think about footage, right, video footage, I mean, it's so common now, obviously, with the advancements in technology. I got Fred back on the line. Let me get Fred in, and I'll finish that thought. Fred, what you got for us this morning? He's having trouble with this one. We can figure him out. We'll get him in at some point. So, as I was saying, now we think of video coverage, footage, right? We live in one of most surveilled times. There's cameras on your doors. There's cameras in everyone's hand. There's cameras at intersections, and then now we even have these flock camera systems and this threaded communication. And video. So it's everywhere, right? But in 1992, we didn't have footage like that. The only way you could really watch something was to watch it on television, right? It was no internet. But that footage from that apartment building, where we all sat and watched those 4 LAPD officers wielding that baton on Altadena resident and community member Rodney King. It was transformational for me. I mean, it was a time when obviously I think some of the best music that we were listening to came from a group out of Compton, and had an acronym NWA, which, that didn't necessarily stand for Northwest Altadena, but I think we all knew what it stood for. And, it put visuals, right, to a song that, was just foundational for how a lot of brothers, I was 18, 19, I think at that time, I had been harassed far more times than I ever care to remember. I know for a fact I'd never had a member of the community pull a gun on me, but I can't tell you how many times and how much that informed and in some respects arrested my own personal development, having to learn to navigate in a world, in a society when, your parents may tell you you can do anything, you can be anything, but make sure you don't do these things and don't do that thing when those people pull you over. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on the other side of a gun and the person holding that gun also had a badge, right? Not a community member. Police. I'm 17, I'm 18, I'm 19. I'm just going to get a hamburger. I'm just going to get a cheeseburger. I'm just going to hang out with my friends. And so while I never suffered the fate that Rodney King suffered, at 18, I did get my whooped by the police. Why? I guess because I was black. I guess because I was young. I mean, I don't know if it was the, Toyota Tercel I was driving, right? I don't know if it was the apparel I was wearing, a San Francisco Giants hat, right? I don't know even if it was because perhaps I was, listening to NWA. But what I do know, my brother, my friend, and I were pulled over, much like Rodney King. And instead of, I guess at best, issuing a ticket, we got our ass whooped. I did anyway. That informed me. That shaped me. Not into hating police, but to hating policing. Not hating police, but hating policing. And, sent me on this quest to try to find what is the difference between police and public safety. What is a guardian versus a warrior? I understand, as Dr. Melina Abdullah was explaining the history of police, I'm not ignorant to that. I understand they're slave catchers. Many of them are adrenaline junkies. Many of them are sociopaths. I don't know how they get through the background. I don't know how they rationalize beating Rodney King or Christopher Ballou or putting the eye out of Michael Zinzin in Pasadena. And I can go on and on and on. I don't know. But that informed me. That has shaped this community and Rodney King in Altadena, right? Many of y'all know him from TV, and I never met him, right? But he's not that person that the media wants you to believe. He has some challenges, but he also had a family. He also had a community. He also was loved. That's no different than many of our other brothers and sisters who find themselves minding their own damn black business, only to have that disrupted by individuals that we pay well. I mean, pay really well to act out some fantasy, perhaps, to participate in this violent pornography that we now have to consume on our devices that typically shows us on the other end of that very heavy-handed badge hand of law enforcement. When we come forward, more First Things First. I'm James Farr. I'm sitting in for Dominique DePrima all week. More election coverage. Stay with us. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We got your black.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. State lawmakers are set to debate a new congressional map that could cut Democratic-leaning districts in half, giving Republicans as many as 24 House seats. Black State House Minority Leader Fentrice Driscoll calls it illegal gerrymandering.
It is virtually impossible to see this as anything except another thinly veiled attempt to subvert the will of the voters and rig the midterm elections.
The government says rapid population growth and looming federal court rulings justify the move. Nebraska has approved its first Black-founded all-girls middle school. Identity Preparatory Academy is set to open in North Omaha later this year, offering a culturally focused education designed to support academic success and representation for young girls. And President Trump has fired all 24 members of the National Science Board, which oversees federal science funding through the National Science Foundation. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Fiji Airways on sale. Turn your next trip into something unforgettable with Fiji Airways. Fly nonstop from LAX to Fiji starting from just $349 one way. Your island time is waiting. Book now at FijiAirways.com. That's FijiAirways.com.